My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need! And I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so what's going on you guys? We are talking everything basketball today. I got my wholesome Brotha Bob with me right here. Talking all NBA stuff. I think the season starts on the 25th?
Tomorrow. First game
tomorrow,
the 22nd. Yeah, the Christmas Day games were the big promoted games. Tomorrow is Golden State, Brooklyn, and Clippers versus Lakers. Opening day, baby.
Yo, I thought it started on Christmas.
No, those are they just wanted to make sure they hit the time slot for it, but they started a couple days before. Yeah.
What's your quick, just brief little recap of the past season, and then going into the bubble and how you thought the whole bubble experience was? From the perspective as a fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a fan, and especially if we're talking about hearing all the news and media surrounding the season, like before the bubble, it was so astonishing how everybody had kind of just written off every other team. It's like, oh, the Clippers are going to win. Clippers are going to win. Kind of like the Clippers are supposed to be the Warriors.
Then them suckers.
Exactly. Well, the best part, too, is there was always, every time they would talk about the Clippers, it was always like, oh, but they're not really playing together because Kawhi's always out load managing or, Paul George. Yeah. Exactly. And Paul George doing the same shit. And it's like, well, if a team's not really gelled, how well are they going to do against a team that is?
Yeah.
And we damn sure saw that in the bubble. They got overconfident.
What about Paul George, by the way? Playoff P.
Playoff P?
Pandemic P.
Just about to say that. Pandemic P.
Right.
Oh, man.
I feel
they
like
just signed him.
I know they just signed this man, his freaking contract. He got like 4 years, 200 and something. I'm like, But then again, really, if they didn't sign him, like, who were they going in to get to replace him?
Well, yeah, exactly. Not only that, too, but they gave up so much to get him. Like, literally, their next 5 years worth of draft is just gone.
All for Paul George.
Yep.
Let's move on to the bubble. Like who really shocked you in the bubble? Who do you see has like a bright future? All that stuff, and of course, my Heat, sir, my Heat.
I was about to say I'm going to pick a team from each conference. Eastern Conference, that's an easy one. You're Heat. Like they came out with, again, they have such a young roster, and yeah, they lost. I think they lost Jay Crowder and somebody else, but they picked up Avery Bradley. They signed the dotted line with Bam as well, so he's going to be there for a while longer. So I mean. I know there's a whole lot of talk about the Heat and James Harden, and I really kind of hope you guys don't do it.
I don't,
because the more go ahead.
Jesus, because I was talking to you about this before. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like James Harden, we all know he's like a great player. He's a great scorer. Like he's one of the best one-on-one players in the league right now. But yeah, I'm not willing to give away my whole team for that man. Exactly. And if I have to get rid of Tyler Hero, Bam, throw in someone else in there, plus some, first round or second round draft picks for Harden, I don't know about that. Even though I do feel like Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra could be one of the few two people that can change his game and be like, listen, you're not doing that dribble stuff down here.
Exactly. But back to your other question. You said underrated team from the bubble. The Suns.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they go
8-0 in the bubble and just missed the play-in tournament spot.
Right. And so what do you think about this acquisition of Chris Paul?
It's going to do wonders for them.
Yeah.
Because as phenomenal as with how phenomenal Chris Paul is, being able to put him in that offense with DeAndre Ayton and why can't I remember their guard's name for the life of me right now?
Booker?
Yes, Devin Booker. There it is. Putting him with Devin Booker, he has been the point guard for the team. But he's more of a scorer, not like a driving scorer, but like a shooter.
Most definitely, yeah.
So having Chris Paul take over the floor general spot and allowing Devin Booker to just do the scoring stuff, it's going to be so crazy to watch how like the difference for them this season. I have them as like a dark horse to get in the playoffs or at least a playing tournament.
How much years you think Chris Paul got in him?
Oh, Chris.
Because what? He's like 36, right?
Yeah, let me see.
I think he's like 36.
He's 35, but probably going to be 30. Yeah, he turns 36 in May.
I personally have always felt like Chris Paul does better with not saying like the Suns don't have talent, but I've always thought that Chris Paul thrives when he isn't on the most talented teams. Like you seen what he did with OKC, like this year.
Like that was insane. And then they were. Yeah, go on.
And then and then him on the Hornets and stuff like that. I feel like when his teams are favored, like with the whole Lob City, and then going with when he was on the Rockets with Harden, I've always feel like when he has more, it's kind of weird when he has more like weapons to work with, he doesn't do as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, because when you reach the type of caliber player that's like oh man, I'm a superstar, one of the tops in the league. You kind of need to like, who does the offense run through or who does the team run through? But when it can be solely in Chris Paul's hands,
right?
He can make everybody. He's kind of like, again, a good comparison to Chris Paul, as far as that is concerned, is LeBron.
I don't feel, bro. LeBron has this narrative like he makes everybody listen. And I'm not trying to hate on LeBron at all. He's a fantastic player, but this narrative that LeBron makes everybody on his teammate better. Well, I'm sorry. Did he make Chris Bosh better? Did he make Kevin? Did he make Kevin Love better? Did he make Jay Crowder better? Does he make Danny Green better? Suckers was freaking throwing Danny Green under the freaking bus. I feel like what LeBron does really well is, again, like, and and kind of what you had said when because again, like a lot of those like early LeBron teams, when he didn't have a lot of talent, like he would like get those teams far in the playoffs than you would think that they would get.
Oh, absolutely. God, what is it? The 2008 finals, I think, with the Cavs Spurs.
Yeah. But what LeBron does, and I guess that's kind of like just what comes with it. When you put other like all-star players with LeBron, they have to take a back seat. They just have to.
Yeah, he is the number one option.
Yeah, so like,
and that's kind of what I meant with Chris Paul. Like, you can't have Chris Paul with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, or Chris Paul with James Harden. It's Chris Paul and a bunch of pieces.
Right. So I feel like LeBron does the same thing. He makes like legit role players better than what they actually are. But when it comes to actual like star players, no. What do you think about Denver?
Oh, I mean, they did phenomenal. I think they overachieved a little bit, but it also had to do with the Clippers literally falling apart at the seams.
Right.
I mean, though, if Jamal Murray can keep what he did in the bubble during the season,
I didn't know he was that. I literally didn't even know he was that, because I never like watched freaking Denver like that.
Of course.
But then come to bubble, I'm like, bro, who is this guy? I'm like, bro, this man is a freaking. He's an all-star.
50, like, what did he average? Like 50 points in the playoffs or some shit like that? Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't really do a whole lot during the offseason. If anything, they might have lost a piece or two.
Yeah.
So, like, it'll be interesting to see how they can manage it. But, again, if Jamal Murray plays like he did in the bubble, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be, probably a second-round team again, maybe a third, depending on who they face. But everybody keeps, all because Klay Thompson got injured, people keep forgetting about the Warriors, that they exist. And
you think Warriors are doing something without Klay Thompson?
They still have Steph Curry, and I don't know about you, but
yeah, that's one person.
I had Steph. I still had Steph as a top 5 player in the league. Before his injury, I still had Steph as a top 5.
No. Don't get it twisted. Like, Steph is still like Steph, but you gotta like think the whole reason why like Golden State was such a hard team to stop is because you had to worry about Steph and Klay and Durant at that time. Now when teams can just focus on really just Steph, I mean, yeah, they got Wiggins, but I mean,
they got Wiggins, they got Kelly Oubre, they picked up Kent Bazemore. They have obviously still Draymond Green, which Draymond Green with no other stars is basically a trash player. But
pretty much.
Did you see the Warriors last season? Playoffs, in my opinion, is an easy make for this Warriors team.
Boston. What do you think about
Boston? Up the road, an hour away from me.
Yes, you are in Boston. So what has been going on with this team? Like, people have been saying, "Oh, we're doing it this year. We got Tatum, we got Brown, we got
Kemba.
We got Hayward, we got Kemba."
Yeah. The problem is that I think Boston of last year suffered from the old phrase of like too many cooks in the kitchen. When you have all that star players, everybody needs, a certain amount of time where the offense runs through them or the plays run through them. Too many goddamn people. They got rid of Hayward. Kemba is a little bit injury prone, but yet again, at the same time, Jason Tatum's still on the rise.
Yeah.
So like,
he is clearly their best player.
Oh yeah, it's not even a question.
And I actually thought Kemba, like, I'm not saying that he's trash at all, but I literally thought like Kemba was like a mini Kyrie. Kyrie's better than Kemba.
Oh yeah, Kyrie's better than Kemba, but like Kemba is still a very solid, piece, whether it be where you count him as like your third guy. Yeah. You have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba, and I think that's a great core to run with.
Yeah, I feel like Kemba is like a better fit for that team.
Absolutely.
But I definitely feel like he has to take it to the next level in order for Boston to get further.
I think it's more if Kemba can stay healthy and available, he'll be fine. Jaylen Brown is the one that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Because obviously Jason Tatum, we know far and away is their best player. Yeah. Not even a question.
Yeah. And he's like, what, 22, 23?
Oh, yeah. He's super young. Like, Luka and him are going to be the phenoms of this league for a while.
Did they pick up any key players this offseason? Boston?
Let me scroll up.
Because I feel like their team didn't really change. They just got rid of Hayward because he didn't really, fit.
They got a couple pieces. They got Jeff Teague from the Hawks. So he'll be probably backing up Kemba. Which you can definitely have worse backups than Jeff Teague. And then Tristan Thompson from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, they did pick up Tristan. I actually feel like Tristan would be great for that team.
I agree. Because, again, you already have the three star players with Kemba, Jaylen, and Jason Tatum. So you don't really need somebody who's like, a big star player at center or power forward. Tristan will be great defensively, great rebounder. That's exactly what he did in Cleveland. And he's, as far as I remember, he's not on some sort of like massive contract either, like he was at the end of his time in Cleveland.
Do you think Doc Rivers is the answer to the Philly trust the process thing that's been going on for years now?
That's why they call it a process.
Do you think he's an overrated coach, Doc Rivers?
Yes and no. I think he's a little bit overrated, but I think the benefit of having him in Philly is he can figure out how to make Joel and Ben Simmons work together rather than all right, we need to run the offense through Joel and Joel only or Ben and Ben only.
Could he though? Because he couldn't even get, the whole Clippers squad together.
That
apparently he was giving, Kawhi and Paul George all this great treatment. And everyone else was just really?
No, from everything we know about both Kawhi and Paul George, they're both divas. Yeah. So Joel just wants to play basketball in Fortnite when he gets home. That's what we know about Joel Embiid. And Ben Simmons is he doesn't even talk. I don't even know what he is. He's basically Kawhi.
Milwaukee. Giannis I literally thought Giannis was gonna be I'm tired of y'all suckers. We gone. But he actually re-signed. So they locked down Giannis. He has committed to Milwaukee. What players did they pick up? Because I know Milwaukee they actually was picking up players to try to convince Giannis to stay.
So they swapped a whole lot of bodies around. So keep in mind what they lost: Eric Bledsoe and George Hill in the trade.
Well, I mean, is Eric Bledsoe really a loss? I know, he's a decent player, but again, in that series versus Miami, what really was he doing?
Exactly. No, I agree with you. I mean, to be fair, you can say that about the whole team versus Miami because Miami beat the ever-living hell out of them. But they also lost Wesley Matthews. They lost Kyle Korver. They lost Robin Lopez. But they did pick up Jrue Holiday. They picked up DJ Augustin, who will be a good backup for Jrue Holiday, and Nick Stauskas. They picked up Bobby Portis from the Knicks. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he doesn't punch Giannis. You can't forget that, man. Can't forget that happened. But yeah, so like they've moved around a lot of pieces, but as at least if you watch, any sort of sports media, everybody's freaking out about the Jrue Holiday deal just because they now have an actual like ball handler,
right?
General, floor general type player. So it's like, okay, now we can see what the Bucks running at a higher cylinder can do.
So do you think that was their like main issue? Because I mean, I felt like, bro, the reason why the Heat stomped them suckers the way that they did is because what Giannis does in the regular season, it's great. Like he just freaking goes down the lane and freaking dances around players and then just dunks it or does it like a layup. But come playoffs, teams aren't letting you do that.
Exactly, and the thing is too, in the regular season you could get a lot of foul calls for that, but playoffs they let a lot of things go. Yeah. So, and the other thing is too, they didn't have anybody. Excuse me, they didn't have anybody to like, oh man, the lane is blocked, kick it out to somebody.
Yeah.
They didn't have that. They literally they had Giannis and Chris Middleton.
They had Kyle Korver.
He was on their bench more than half the time, dude. Because Kyle Korver's old as hell.
Nah, I see. I don't want to hear that because Milwaukee had the best offense last season.
Well, yeah, when everybody just lets Giannis run through because he's like a 6'10" monster.
They had Wesley Matthews. They had Kyle Korver. They had Chris Middleton.
Both of them.
Yeah, I know. Do you feel like Giannis can be the best player on a championship contender?
That's a question, isn't it?
His brother got a ring before him. I don't listen. Giannis is a great player, but until he gets a consistent jump shot,
and there it is.
I don't feel like, even with the moves they made, I still don't feel like the Bucks will win.
Yeah, no. They can obviously win a playoff series. Hell, they can maybe
you have to be able to make jump shots because you're not always come playoff time. You will not be driving to the lane every single possession.
It's another reason why to make a comparison. If the 76ers make the trade for James Harden, I want to see them get rid of Ben Simmons. I feel like Giannis would do a whole lot better in
Miami,
like a Spurs, maybe Miami. But I was going to say more a Spurs or a Utah Jazz or a Boston system style team.
Yeah.
Where whatever Giannis lacks, somebody else can pick up.
Right.
But when you have somebody as good as Giannis, they just kind of force the team to run through him, and I think that's what's led to the problems they've had.
Right. All right, quick before we get to the 2021 predictions, how do you think the Nets looked in the preseason? I'm actually shocked by how good Durant looks. Like he doesn't look like he missed a step. I mean, he did kind of start off rusty, but he ain't played for a year and a half, whatever.
Literally a year and a half. So I don't really hold that much against him, but I think it is going to be interesting to see if they, load manage him at all. Especially if, because again, right out the gate, they're facing the Warriors. On Christmas Day, I think they have a game too. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm gonna look that up real quick. But
God, I wish fans were back. Can you imagine the Nets going to the Warriors and them just booing Durant? Well, you can't even really boo him. Like he freaking risked his Achilles for you.
For real.
But you can't even boo him.
Durant's looked like he's barely lost a step, if at all. But in general, Kyrie I didn't see much of. I haven't been able to keep too much on the preseason, just kind of
he's looking good.
The work has been. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I in general, if we're gonna shift to predictions, there's too much talent on this team. Like whether we're talking about KD and Kyrie or we're talking about
as far as like there's too much talent for them to not make it to the championship, or it's too much talent to where it's like it's gonna hurt them.
No. That they'll at the very worst make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
I don't know about a championship. Again, I think they're in a similar situation to the Clippers in the sense where, like, yeah, the Clippers had a lot of talent last year, but like their top two guys are kind of divas, and you know, how well can they really gel? Like Kyrie's been there, but he was also injured more than half the season last year. Right. KD's been out the entire time.
Right.
So how is going to be playing with them together going to work?
I definitely because Kyrie and Durant are so like they're kind of sensitive towards like certain things. Like I feel like it's going to be one of those situations to where once they go on like a little losing streak or like whatever, and then like that, and then that New York media starts to, you know, go at Kyrie especially.
Oh my God.
And then, you know,
I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to happen.
Once that New York media hit Kyrie and like Durant, like I feel like that's when, you know, issues are gonna start coming up, and then you're gonna start hearing about locker room issues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
especially if the trade rumors continue about dimwitting LeVert.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't feel like who's really the leader on the Nets? Is Durant? Can Durant be your leader? I don't feel like he's a leader. I don't feel and Kyrie is clearly not a leader.
No, not at all.
They don't even respect Steve Nash. It sounds like they're like, there is no coaches on this team.
When I heard that line, I was like, bro, this team's already done. Like, you'll see if they haven't even started.
You know, and I like hope Steve Nash does like great, but like who is gonna take it? Like who's like I don't feel like Durant is that player that will like step up and be willing to take all of the heat. Nor is Kyrie that player. Will it be like Deion? Will it be Jordan? Yeah, like I mean, because I don't feel like the leader of your team like necessarily has to always be like the best player.
No, it definitely doesn't. But yeah, no, I agree. I think, funny enough, I think it end up one of those two, probably Durant in particular, will be the one to kind of like forced to step into that role, but. I mean, how well is he going to do it when he's just going to go on Twitter and use burner accounts all the time? Let's be real for a second. Like, what's KD really going to do?
Yes.
So, like as I said before, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
2021 season predictions. Just who you think is going to shine in the East? Who you think is going to shine in the West? Who you think is going to get all the way to the finals? Think the Lakers going to repeat all of that stuff?
Okay, so Eastern Conference, I mean, again, if we're going to look at the playoffs, you look at Atlantic Division, Celtics, Nets, Knicks, 76ers, Raptors.
Did you just say the Knicks?
I'm just saying the teams in the division. I was about to say it. Knicks aren't going to do anything, but the remaining four teams there, I don't see how all of them don't get in.
Right.
Like Celtics, Nets, 76ers, even the Raptors. Like, yeah, they don't have a star player. Yeah, they're probably going to lose in the first round, but like, I don't see how the Raptors don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, so that's what 4 or 5 right there.
4 already, and then Central Division: Bulls, Cavaliers, Pistons, Pacers, Bucks.
Bucks from that.
Bulls and Cavs aren't getting anywhere. Pistons probably aren't going to do much. Pacers and Bucks guaranteed in. Pacers just due to the fact that there's nobody left, and Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner, like they have good pieces, but like they're not enough to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's really just the Bucks as far as a team to look at. Southeast Division:
Miami,
Wizards, Magic, Hornets, Hawks.
The Wizards with Westbrook and Beal. How do you think they are going to be?
I was just about to say they're probably my like surprise team of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll do each one of those like better than people expect, but like again, they're not going to go for a title.
Yeah,
they don't have the backup pieces to get there. As far as who's gonna go far in the playoffs,
from the East, what 2 teams you think are going to be competing for that
Eastern Conference
spot?
Finals?
I feel like it's going to take the Nets at least a year or two. So I'm not saying no.
See, I literally said it earlier.
Every single team that's come together like this, it always takes them at least a year.
I agree with you. That's why I said at worst Eastern Conference. So I got to say the Nets at least. But for the other team, it's between three teams for me. And one of them is a huge question mark, which is the 76ers.
I'm guessing because it's like Celtics, Sixers, and Heat. You're thinking between or Bucks?
Bucks and Heat is my other two. 76ers, I have a big old question mark on.
So you don't have the Celtics in there?
No. I feel they're good. They're real good. But unless Jason Tatum takes another step and Jaylen Brown steps up too.
You think the Sixers are better than the Celtics?
That's why I said the Sixers for me is a huge question mark, because it's if Doc Rivers can actually solve the equation,
the process.
Ben Simmons, if he can complete the process, then yes, I absolutely do think the Sixers are better than the Celtics. However, if he does not complete the process, then I would swap the Celtics into that.
Yeah.
I do think both the Bucks and the Heat are better on paper than the Celtics and Sixers. And God, if we have a repeat in the second round of this past year in the bubble, we know the Heat are going to handle the Bucks pretty well. So I'd probably say Nets Heat as far as my Eastern Conference Finals.
I feel like going into this season, like a lot of people aren't talking about the Heat because some people felt like what we did this year was like a fluke, and how like a lot of teams were just like.
They call the Heat a fluke. They call LeBron winning a paper championship. It's like, guys, what is wrong with you people?
A Mickey Mouse ring.
Yep, that's like, guys,
you got a Mickey Mouse ring.
People couldn't see their families for months.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. As I mentioned before, I would love to see the drama in Brooklyn. So I want Heat versus Bucks or Celtics or Sixers, but I just think the Nets, on paper, there's too much talent to fail.
Yeah. Okay.
Or at least too much talent to not get there.
All right. Moving on to the West. What other teams you gonna come out from the West? The 8 teams. Lakers. Who else? Lakers, Clippers, Denver, Dallas, Portland. I'd still throw in Portland.
Yes. That's what I say. That's my dark horse in the West to do like real good. Because keep in mind, they were only an 8 seed. Keep in mind, their starting center, who was like their third option on that team before Melo showed up, was gone all last season.
Right.
So, like, with him back, like, even just looking at the roster for the Trailblazers, they picked up Robert Covington this offseason.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So, Melo, Robert Covington, Rodney Hood, Enes Kanter, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Yusuf Nurkic. That's who was injured for them. So, like, they have so many people that I think it's legitimately possible that the Trailblazers are top 4 in the West. Like, I think that's absolutely plausible. Like, top 4 seeds, Lakers, Clippers, Trailblazers, and then
You feel like the Blazers going to be better than Dallas? I feel like Portland will always be that like 5 or 6 seed that can be like a wild card.
Keep in mind, though, I mean, as far as the seeds go, Dallas is in the Southwest. So I think Dallas does win the Southwest Conference or Southwest Division, so they'll be a top 4 seed. But you have, I'm saying Portland, I think could be better than Denver. Because
Portland over Denver. Denver's a question mark?
No. Keep in mind, Denver's only question mark is, can Jamal Murray do the same thing he did last season?
I feel like he can. Absolutely.
I doing wrong. I think he can too. But we also didn't see Portland at their best either.
Yes, we did.
No, we saw them.
No. We saw Portland at their best when they was fighting to get that last playoff spot.
Yes,
that's when freaking Dame was like freaking averaging like 50 points a game.
He was literally playing like Jamal Murray. Yes, I think it's possible for them to be a top 4 seed. I think if they didn't run into the Lakers in the playoffs, they would have been at least second round.
Yeah, I agree.
But as far as the 8 teams, yeah, Denver, Trailblazers, Jazz, Clippers, Lakers, Dallas, and then we got one more, and then it's like, all right, do we pick the Warriors, the Rockets?
What you mean? You had the Warriors in there.
I know, but when you start adding up the teams, man, I'm sick of it. I'm taking my Warriors. And the 2 play-in teams are probably what? Rockets, Pelicans, or Rockets, Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do it kind of like we did the East one, it's like, all right, my pick was Nets and one of 3 teams. It's Lakers and
Clippers? You think the Clippers come back?
Yeah, it would be Clippers. See, again, I still have Portland over Denver. So I'm going to say Clippers, Portland, Dallas. But my big question mark, similar to Philly in the East, is Dallas. Because is Kristaps Porzingis going to be healthy for more than 5 minutes? If he is, then I think they get there because just Luka's only getting better. And
so
better
Lakers
and
in Dallas. If I want to say the Clippers, but I just don't. I just don't. I don't. For some, like it's the Clippers. Something always goes wrong.
I know.
That's why I can't say the Clippers.
Because I'm like, it's Clippers is on the tip of my tongue. Because again, it's the Clippers. They have similar to the Nets. There's too much talent to fail, yet they failed.
Yes. Like you said, if Kristaps is there, I feel like Dallas get way further. Because you see, what Luka was able to do, just like kind of by himself.
Well, that's the thing, too. If you even remember, during the series with the Clippers, Luka went down for a game or two, and it was Kristaps alone, and he brought them to the brink both games.
Yeah.
So, if he's there, God, they can do it. They can absolutely do it.
Man.
I know.
Again,
I know.
It's a big if, but if they can stay healthy on Dallas, I'm putting Dallas over Clippers. So I'll say Lakers and Dallas.
Lakers, Dallas. I hope you're right because that's a series I'd much rather watch.
Oh, in my opinion, that series would be way more entertaining than Lakers and Clippers. To be honest, Lakers, Kawhi versus LeBron and Paul George, but Luka and Kristaps versus LeBron and AD.
Yep,
I would have wanted to see that more. To be honest.
Yeah, Clippers Lakers is the big media drama, but no, as far as better basketball games, yeah, give me Lakers Mavericks, absolutely.
Yeah. You think Lakers are gonna repeat? Does LeBron get his 5th ring in 2021 and get one step closer to Michael Jeffrey Jordan? And then Skip Bayless hates once again.
I think they are, as I think even sports bookies have them as the odds-on favorite to repeat. Again, realistically, it doesn't matter who comes out of the East unless it's the Nets.
Yeah.
I apologize to your Heat, but that's the only team I can see. If they can work together and gel together and all this other fun stuff, the Nets, I think, are the only team that can give the Lakers a run for their money in the finals.
Okay.
But even then, I don't know if they can do it because, again, we know the only time KD's beaten LeBron is when he's had the literal best team ever assembled behind him.
Right.
So,
right.
So we'll see.
So, but if you had to choose right now, do Lakers repeat? Yes or no?
Give me that repeat, boy. Give me that repeat.
LeBron getting his 5th ring, bro.
Yeah, what do you think? Lakers repeat. Is it the revenge of the Heat?
I'm trying so hard not to be biased, right?
I know.
Be like, yo, Jimmy Butler is coming for his revenge. He gets his first ring.
I don't think the Heat can do it this year. But what I do think is because this upcoming offseason, though a couple pieces are already coming off the board, the 2021 offseason, there are a lot of names in free agency, and that's where I feel like the Heat can start picking up the remaining pieces. So I think they're maybe a year away
Yeah,
it.
I agree. I agree. I do feel like it's going to be way tougher for them this year because you know now teams have like adjusted to this new NBA with no fans and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I definitely feel like it's going to be tougher, but I still feel like when it all comes down to it, LeBron, AD, what are you doing against them? Yeah. So
absolutely, dude.
So yeah, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. We got a lot of. I just can't wait. I guess it starts tomorrow with the whole NBA season, dude. And then the Christmas games and stuff like that. So Bob, you got any place where people can follow the greatness known as Bob?
just on Twitter, twitter.com/HiKingBob.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this vid. Hope you guys are having a great day. Until next time, I'll catch you on my next video. All right. We out.